Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So we're gonna do a mixed media project today. I'm gonna do it start to finish, but I will forward through a lot of the boring parts. A lot of you think my talking's boring. No. Just so you know, because then you can see what's being done, but you don't have to sit and actually sit through all the boring parts. We're going to use a lot of at-home kind of things that you can use from home, as well as inexpensive things. So all I have here is a watercolor tablet. This is actually a watercolor tablet that is acid-free, medium weight, cold press, and this is 140 pounds, 9 by 12. Well, the ultimate thing that I'm going to use at the end is I need an 8 by 10. So what I'm going to do, or what I did actually, is I took my ruler and I marked down a little longer than 10 inches, just a little bit, and a little longer than 8 inches. But I know, this is kind of where I'm going to cut it at the end. So I'm going to not, sometimes, I want to save some product. And look, I'm cheap. I can't help it. I'm cheap and easy. So all I did was took I love this pencil. I have it medium wash and dark wash. This is a Derwent Sketching medium wash 4B. A lot of you don't like when I use my Stabilo because you cannot get it or you don't like ordering off a line. So this you can buy in your local Michaels and AC Moore. You can get this off of Amazon as well, but you can use this at your local craft store, Joann's, the Hobby Lobby, all that kind of thing, and use a coupon and get it very inexpensively if you want to go to the store. So that's what I used to mark it off. And we're going to start with, where's my Mod Podge? Here it is. I love my matte Mod Podge. Now, you can use the paper Mod Podge, but this time I'm using the regular Mod Podge matte because a lot of you have this and do not have the money to go out and buy the paper one. So this is where we're going. Okay. So I have some things, like I said, we're going to start. Now, I'm not gessoing this. I'm not doing anything. I will, however, move in a little closer just so you guys can, Now, first thing I have here is something that you guys might have. And this is going to act as a texture kind of thing. Now, don't get grossed out. Look, this is just how I do things. This is for those of us women who have that time of the month and maybe you use things during the day differently than at night. These are maxi pads. These are always or stay free. I don't know. They all have different kind of outside holders. This is clean, not used. This came off as the cover. And this is what I'm going to use as a texture kind of thing. So I don't need it everywhere. And you can see it kind of has like seams. So kind of pull it. So I got to move back a little bit. It's too close for me. So kind of pull it where you, want it to be on a little strainer. See, and it's very flexible. This way, not so much. This way, you get a little bit of give. So up to you. So I'm going to take my Mod Podge matte. I don't know if my camera needs wiped off. Maybe I squirted something up there accidentally. I just don't know why it's not as bright as I want it. Let's try one last thing. Maybe it's this. No, that's way too light. I don't want it that light. Maybe we'll try that. Okay. Let's save it and see what happens. Okie dokie. So I have this. I'm going to use a brush to lay down some Mod Podge matte. And I'll work down here. And I'm going to be gluing a lot of things down, so I'll just throw it all down. That's what my background's going to be. Take it to the edge, take it to the edge. Now I'm going to throw some of this Mod Podge matte up here because it's a thick glue, obviously. So it's not going to necessarily, you can see it smudges it a little bit, but it's going to seal it more. So I won't lose that. Okay. Now that I have this, lay that there. Take our piece. I'm going to lay it on the edge. Now, if it's squishy, if it has wrinkles, it's all the better. All the better. And obviously, if you go over this line, you're going to cut it anyway, so it's not going to matter. So now I'm going in. I'm going to just take my brush before I lay a final layer of the Mod Podge, and I'm going to work it around. If you don't want it to be wrinkled, you know, you can pick it up, kind of pull it a little bit. I like wrinkled. Now, if you do not have these, because a lot of us are in menopause, use a paper towel. And I will do that up here just to show you. I'm going to give you 2 ways to get some texture without necessarily having a texture paste or modeling compound or molding, whatever we call it. I, in my head, call it other things. I swear that's what they call it. Different brands call it different things, so I don't know. Okay, so you can see. Now I'm going to go in with my fingers and kind of give it a push where these wrinkles are. We're still going to have these wrinkles, but they're not going to be as bubbly because I want it to stick as well. Got a little tear there. Oh, menopause. Oh, the nice friend menopause. Okay. All right, you'll see. And that's what I'm going to do. Now up here, I'm going to take a piece of paper towel. Now this piece of paper towel I'm using is not really used. I only used a little bit to, you know, wipe off. So this is going to be the texture up here. I'm going to kind of rip it because I don't need all of it. And it is easier if you take your paintbrush and you dip it in water and kind of run it where you want to rip it, and then it comes off. So I'm going to put a little bit more up here. So if you do not want to use this or you don't have any, use some paper towel. Napkin, you can go to your dollar store, which is where I prefer to get my paper towels that I use with art because it's cheap. You get 2 for $1. And then you will go to town using it for texture. Okay, so I will lay this down. Let's go over here, push it with my hand. And it's okay if it doesn't go here. If it bothers you, you know, move it over a little bit more or cut more off. It doesn't really matter. And you see, I'm pressing it down. And this is why I like to look for textured paper. Now, these are Viva paper towels, but use whatever, you know, you can get. But it's why I like using paper towels to dab off, because you also get that good texture that they have. And I'll hold this up in a minute. Let me just throw a layer down on top of all this. Very, you know, kind of like almost cleaning your brush off because you want those edges to lay down. Okay, and you can see. Oh, the wind here is awful. I hope I don't lose internet now. It is so windy in Jersey today. Okay, so you kind of see where I'm getting at, and my brush is pushing down. And then I can tear off what I don't want. I could take a little water on my brush, and we'll just go along that line up there a little bit. Let that water soak, kind of hold it, and look, it tears. So you don't even have to, if it OCD about stuff, you don't have to worry. We'll just tear it. Now, don't throw this away if you're cheap like me. Save this. Get a plastic bag, paper bag, lunch bag, whatever. Throw it all these pieces in there because, look, this becomes your next piece of texture. You know what I mean? So don't throw these little things away. I like to save them. That's if you are cheap like me, because you'll use them on an ATC card in your art journal, right? I need a little more glue. God, I go through Mod Podge like nobody's business. And that's part of my reason I think I'm out of paper, almost out of the paper Mod Podge, because I use it all the time. And like I said, a lot of you don't have that and you want me to use the regular Mod Podge on projects, and I thought, why not? We'll do it this one. Okay. So there we are. We have some pad paper and paper towels going there. Nothing wrong with that. So we have this. This is kind of where it's going to start. Let's decide what our base color is going to be. Now I'm going to take my heat gun. If you have a hairdryer, you can use that. If you don't have that, go to your local Goodwill, thrift store, and let me tell you something. Buy a hairdryer. They're a couple bucks, but sometimes you get lucky and they have art and craft stuff there. I don't get as lucky just once in a blue moon, but sometimes, you know, they do have arts and craft stuff, so give it a look. But a hairdryer will work just as well as a heat gun, or just watch your favorite video for, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You're watching mine, they're probably 20 minutes, and you'll get it nice and dry. Now, it's very humid here in Jersey as well, which I swear that's all it is ever. So I just want to give it a quickie on this outside. Okay. I need a drink of water. Woo! Good girl. My dog's under my table. Okay. So now what colors are we going to use? Well, let's see what we got. Oh, goodness, Kelly. Let's use... Let's start with a darker... I always like to go light to dark because you can build. But I think I'm going to go in with... Do I want to go dark? No, maybe I'll go, let's go a little red. I don't use red clearly enough. This is metallic. It's going to be a metallic color. This is bright red metallic, and obviously from folk art. Let's rinse our brush. Let's put the lid on the Mod Podge till I need it again, because I will be worrying that I'm going to knock it over. And I'm just going to use, this is just going to start our background, and I'm just going to kind of, now look at this. Look at these squiggles. You can leave those. I like doing those on top as well, but you can leave those. But I'm going to start, I'm only using a little bit of this to start. I don't need it to be so opaque or thick. Dab off your brush, but you want it a bit wet. And then kind of go in. And you see why you have the line, just so you know not to bring it up there. But, and yes, it's paper towel. It's going to be, you're getting, look at that texture. You're getting all this great texture. Wait, there we go. Look at that. From the paper towel. Very cool. I'm going to go over here on this side. Lightly, I'm not pushing down a lot because I don't want, I'm going to move back a little bit more. I don't want it to be so opaque and cover everything, because that blue color is a cool color underneath. Now you see, I'm going over, I'm not pushing, so those little swirls are going to stay, and that becomes a part of your design. And we'll do it again, you know, because we might end up covering it. I never know where I'm going. And I'm not adding too much water because I don't want to make everything soaking sopping wet. All right, so you see that's our first color. So I like to dry because I like to layer. I don't want to necessarily mix all the color. If I would go down with a yellow now, I would have an orange. Do you know what I mean? And I don't necessarily want that. Why is my... I'm like holding my heat gun way down here and I couldn't figure out why. And this is metallic. It's beautiful. And we might only end up seeing a little bit of this at the end. I have no idea. Okay, and that's all you really need. So now I'm going to go in. I want to go in with a yellow or a green. So, oops. Kelly's painting, knocking everything over. Going with this yellow here. Do I want it to be metallic? I don't think I do. I don't think I do, but do I? You know what color I'm going to use? Brushed metal. Then I think I'm going to go in with the brushed metal in brushed gold. Just a little bit. I'm going to shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Shake it up. Okay. So then I'm going to open it and I'm going to squeeze. Just in a little bit of areas. Because like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to show with this at the end. Do you know what I mean? Might not show a lot of this. And this is what this is. Brushed metal in, sorry if my hands are shaking. Brushed gold. It's embarrassing to come on here with my hands shaking. I do apologize. And this is Folk Art Bright Red Metallic. Okay. Just a bad day, health-wise. And that's why I'm sitting in here, and I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. Oh my God, my paintbrush just fell apart. Oh my God, and I snorted. What is more attractive? What kind of person do you want to watch on YouTube? Somebody who snorts and their paintbrushes fall apart. Okay. So down here, downhill, downhill. And I'm just kind of going around before I hit these spots. And you can see it's just going to add a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. A little bit more. Let me show you how pretty that metallic is. So pretty. Okay. I'm going to dry it real quick. But you see how you can actually see the color, right? So it didn't smush in with the red or anything like that. And you see the texture we're getting. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to grab, or no, you know what I want to use next? We're going to use a green tea bag. And I think I'm going to cut it in thirds. You can obviously see this. We're going to get writing. We're going to get whatever that is writing. Put that go right there. And then we have this part. Maybe right there. And there was something else I wanted to use. Where did it go? Where did it go? And over here. Let me pick what I want to use. This came with Sherry sent me a bunch of stuff in a little moleskin, and this paperwork came in it, and it's in different languages, and I thought, oh, that would be fun to rip apart. So therefore, I am. And then all this, let's see what we got. Ooh, that's a good page right there. All right, so let me open my glue again. So this will end up being our third layer. Okay, because our paper that we put down, the paper towel, and this was our first. And then the paint, red paint is one layer, the gold paint's another layer. This is gonna be our third layer. right? Does that make sense? I need Emily in here checking my math. And then if you go across the bump, just pat it down. That's it. Very easy. I'll put it here. And these can go anywhere. But you want to make sure that you glue it down as well. I always like to put an extra layer. And like I said, this is going to mix different kind of things for people who don't have things, and things, you know, and I'll give you alternatives if I use something that maybe, you know, I use and you don't have. Let's turn this way. And use these, you know, you can use these strategically. Like here is where these two meet. So maybe I'll put this, you know what I mean? So that gives it extra glue there. Something extra sturdy. Like a premium green tea. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna rip this in half. I love paper. Okay, and then I'll lay that there. And I think that's all the paper I'm gonna add at the moment. Throw that down, whatever way it lays down, I just let it be. Mixed media God saying, girl, just put it this way. Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna rinse that off. Save this for another one. Or maybe for more. We shall see. Put that over there with the rest of my stuff. I was gonna put this in there. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. So put my lid back on here so I don't spill it. And gonna dry. This will dry very quickly. Now I'm gonna grab. I'll be able to shut the door though. Door. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I need purple spray. So this is Folk Art Stencil Spray in purple. I'm going to shake it real good because it's been sitting. And oh, it's going to come out poopy, but that's all right. It's coming out in parts. I just have to clean the nozzle because it's been a minute. All right, and I'm just adding some spray. No big deal. Where'd my paper towel go? Come on, a minute. And I want to keep this kind of sprayed look. If I don't, I can go in and dab it away if it's too much. And then maybe, you know, put a little bit there or something. But I'm digging on that. Now, if you have any kind of sprays, if you have the Folk Art spray, if you have Dilutions, if you have Perfect Pearls, whatever they're called, I don't know. Anyway, and they clog, take the lid off, take the pump out, make sure all the spray is gone in it, and then put it in very warm water and leave it sitting there for about 5-10 minutes. Take it out and then try to squirt it, and 9 out of 10 times it becomes unclogged. That's all it is the dried paint. If you want to be very OCD, which I'm not, but I know some people are, you will, every time you're done with it, you'll spray out whatever's left. Take that lid off, you know, unscrew it, and spray off whatever's left in the nozzle, and then put it back in, you know, and then that paint won't sit in there. So you clean it each time you're done, you know, when you're putting it away. Okay. So I still have a few thicker parts that I'm not quite digging on. I don't want to spend 3 years sitting here drying, but, and the good things with these sprays from Folk Art is that they are permanent. So once they dry, they're permanent, which is very, very good. You know, the dilutions I love as well, but they're not permanent. So it depends on what you're going for. Now, what I'm going for here is, let me see if I have, I need like a dark, let's see, fired brick. This is the oxide low. Let me see. This is a stamp I want to use. I want to show you guys something. I don't have anything in Folk Art that comes in a pad like this, so we're going to use. Okay, remember I told you guys about the kids stuff, right? And this is one of the kids' fun foams. You can see the texture on there. So what I like to do is I will go in on your ink pad. Now this is the distressed. I really didn't want to use this. I'll have to look what I have up there. You can see. And you see how we're getting some of that? I can put it on there. We're just using the stamp. I'll do it up here once so you guys can really see. And then I'm just going to go and stamp off until like the rest of my ink's off, or you do it on your art journal extra page, whatever you have. This is fantastic. But I know a lot of you do not have distressed inks or anything like that. So I'm going to dry this real quick again, and then I'm going to show you. I might do this in 2 parts, I think, instead of forward and through. Okay. So I want a brighter color now. We're kind of dark. We're kind of, you know. So I'm going to go with, and you can see I'm staying in the same kind of color kind of thing, palette-y kind of thing. Oh, the grids, I can find my, yeah. All right, so I'm going to use orange and I'm going to use bright yellow. Okay. This color is, let me see, medium orange in Folk Art. And this color is almost gone because I use it so much. Jonquil in Martha Stewart Crafts. Okay. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of the Kids Fun Foam. All right, and we're going to use, now look, this is fun because you get this side and this side. So what I'm going to do is pour some of my yellow out, okay, of the acrylic paint, just the littlest bit. Now, I'm going to tell you to use a paintbrush because, do I have a small flat? Come here, friend. I'm going to use a flat paintbrush, but I mean, you can dip it. You can use your finger. You can use a makeup sponge. You can use that because we don't want too much. So I'm just going to dip in a little bit. I'm going to kind of pat it off, and then I'm going to go in because I don't want it to be chunky, that we don't get a good print. I want a print. Okay, so if you're using acrylic paint for a stamp instead of a stamp pad, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to go in and print. Go in and print it. Now, yes, this is yellow. It's not going to show up everywhere. But if I would go dip this in there, you're going to get all kinds of chunks and stuff. And I don't want chunks. I don't like it chunky. Let me show you. See how we're getting that in there? And then I'll turn it. Can work here. Okay. Yeah, boy. Okay, let's see where else. Just kind of, you know, placing, because some of it will get covered up, remember? Okay. Now, if we use the back side, you're going to get a different print. And I'll do one of those just to show you. Always look on the other side. You never know. Let me see what I could do right here. And it kind of gives you a little different pattern than this. This one sticks out more, so you get much more of a pronounced. This is just, okay, fun for everyone. And then I'll rinse that off. I will, you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll take, now that I have this wet, maybe I'll do, let me show you what else you can use. Yeah, come on now. You could dip this in here though. A little bit of water to it. And look at these, how fun. I know, real fun, right? I like it. I have fun all the time. And you just go in with your, even if it's hard, like if it's already done and dried, you have a nice stamp. Okay. So now, I'm gonna dry it. And it's gonna dry fast. First of all, acrylic paints dry fast. And these paints dry phenomenally fast. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit of orange. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I think I'm going straight. And what I'm going to do is shake this. I want it to, when I shake it, I want it to get on that lid because that's what I want. I'm going to go in with, do I want this one? Maybe I'll do this one. I'm going to go in with this size brush, but use whatever you have. It doesn't matter. I'm going in dry to the lid where you can go wherever you want. Like I said, I like to do that and I'll tap it off. And now I'm just going to go in parts. Now, if I didn't dry it in between, this would be mud. My name is Mud. And you see it? And I'm just going to take it down. And that's why I say sometimes you're going to cover up things that you did. It's okay. But I want it light enough, the color that I'm putting on it, we're going to be able to still see through, right? Come on, baby, give us some more loving. You just need a little bit more. Okay. Over here. You can even, if you want to have fun, and maybe you do this with the kids, because I'm always like, do stuff with the kids. That's why I try to do things that, you know, the kids can do. You could do this with watercolor if you want. It'll be, you know, it'll smear a little bit worse, but, you know, for the kids, they don't know. You just try to stick with the colors that they don't become muddy. Make sure they're dry in between and not too wet when you put on top. But, you know, now folk art actually has, it's acrylic, but it's watercolor. I know it sounds weird. I have a few videos on it. I'm going to be doing a few more. And yeah, so there's a lot of alternatives out there, you know, that you could do with the kids. Makes it a lot easier doing the art. All right, so I'm going to take this paper towel. I'm going to take a water bottle, and I'm just going to squirt one section at a time. And I'm going to dab off orangey. So it's not as intense, but still intense. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to do it all. So you can still pick up what's underneath of it on some parts. Yeah. Now I'm putting a painting over this, so don't worry too much about, oh, that's dirty. You know, what you're putting, covering up or whatever, because we're going to put something on it. Okay, so I want brighter, something brighter on top. Let's take our big thing of bubble wrap. I'll lay it here. And then I think I'm going to take some, do I want white? Maybe I want Let me grab some white. Just a little bit of white. Just a little bit of white. And a paintbrush. And a paintbrush. But this time, clean your paintbrush. And we want it a little dry. You don't want it soaking wet. We're going in, doing both sides. I have my bubble wrap. Let's paint it. You can spray it. You can use a makeup sponge. You can do whatever you want. Okay. And then I'm gonna lay it down. Give it a push. Yeah. Now, it didn't all go down, but it did in certain places, and I dig it. I dig it. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. Might need some more paint. Need some more paint, but you can do any color you want. You don't have to do white. I know that the girl's going on here in the middle-ish, so I don't have to worry too much about the middle. I want to hit more on the out, which I thought I did, but I didn't. So I'm just you can hear me, I'm just painting it, just like this. Except this time, I think what I'm going to do, looks like somebody's been in here popping my bubbles. Could be anybody in this house. Take a little bit of water and just give it a quick spray. And then I'm going to take it in pieces. I'm going to press here. I'm going to press over here, over here. Let's see where else we can get it. Yeah. Yeah, one more time. I like it. I like it. Just going to lighten it up a little bit. If you don't have this, use your, if you don't have bubble wrap, maybe I'll use. Go like this. You can make this, remember? Look. These make excellent. These are fun too. How you doing? Look at that. All right, and I got all my white up, Bobby, so. There we go. So exciting. And then dry it. You just hold it like this, just a couple seconds. It'll dry fast because it's not a lot. Okay. Now, I want to draw on here, and I want to get some texture going on here. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do, but you see, but it needs to be brought together. Like it needs something. So if you have watercolor pencils, I have Inktense, I have, but you can use Crayola or whatever you have. These just happen to be, what is this? Yeah, these are the blocks of Inktense from Derwent. What the heck is this? I don't know. So I have these different colors. I don't know what it is, but I could glue that right there. Why not? Take a little bit of paint, a little bit of glue. Let's put it, not there. Let's do it over here. I love text and that kind of stuff. I don't know where it's from or what it is, but it's going with my stuff. Make sure you get under there real good. Now these Derwent blocks and pencils that I have are probably a good 10 years old. No lie. I've had them forever. Forever. When I could afford stuff, that's when I got them. And I don't use them a lot because they are expensive and I'm afraid that they're going to go, like, I'm going to use them all and then never be able to get them again. So, which is silly. how I feel. But right now, I'm busting them out. Okay. So I'm going to dry this real quick, but I'm going to turn this so we work on the other side. So these are kind of like anything watercolor. They're water activated, but they dry permanent. These are like fantastic. And like I said, then they come in the pencils themselves. But I'm looking for some purple and red. So this is obviously purple. I just had the holders to these two. I don't know what I did with them because I have like a pencil holder for them. Anyway, so let's do some circles. So I'm just going to go in dry and do just some circles with the purple and going with magenta and do some lines. Maybe I'll do some on here too. See what we can get. Even though it needs to dry, I'm going to go and screw it up. Okay. We can go around, you know, the paper. Let's get a darker color. Let's see. This is brown. It's going to look like crap. Ooh, and you know I got my favorite color. My favorite color. But I don't know if it's going to show up on here or not, so we'll just do a little bit of that for now. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a clean, damp brush and start activating it. And these, look how pigmented. So even if you can only get the pencils of these and buy them in like separate, you know, colors, buy them separately, these are great. And I'm just going and going to activate it. And there's a little white that's kind of like not all the way dry. So it's kind of mixing and giving you like the feels, right? Then I'm going to go in with more wet and I'm just going to kind of pull it out. Oh, that's what she said. Just pull it out. Like this. No rhyme or reason. I just want to add some background. Because like I said, I'm going to have a girl here, but I want, you know, wet it again. Go in. I'll just leave that circle here. Now I will be adding more stuff once I get the girl in here, like more mixed media stuff to bring it all together at the end. Now's the stage where it's like, you know, just wetting these. Where we're just laying that down. All right, I gotta wait till that's dry all the way. Let's do this. You can use, like if you have a water pencil, you know, like one of the things you put water in and it has the water paintbrush, you know. Like I said, you can use anything you have. And let me tell you something. Well, maybe, I don't know if I have it here. I don't have it. I got to bring up my water. I'll wait until I do my watercolor thing. Okay. I'm just wetting it. Where else do I have it? It's still wet there. The green. Yeah, that's just going to go over the orange like a poopy color. But don't want the poops. Here's another. That purple is everything, isn't it? I just pull down. These also dry fast, you know, as wet as you make them. Now listen, if this is too wet for you or too dark, take a piece of printer paper. Gosh darn it, Cal. I'll just use this for now. It's my recipe, but and push it down on it while it's wet. Might be a little too dry now. And look at that. You know, continue doing that. You can do this through the whole thing. And it'll pick up whatever water. And you can do this at any level. You don't have to just do it here. But what's going to happen is I'm going to be making mixed media paper, right? So then the more I do, the more and you can dab off even when it's paint or whatever, and then you have this great mixed media paper to go ahead and play with when you're done. See, what I'm thinking about though is I'm thinking about, she's going to go in the middle. I want more white bubbles, but I'm going to wait until it's done. I think we're going to be done here now. Yeah. So I'm going to let this fully dry because it is the paper itself starting to buckle a little bit, which means it's a little bit wet. So I'm going to let this dry. And what I'm going to do then is once it's dry, I'll come back and we'll do another video because this is kind of long as it is. And then I'll just do a part 2 and it'll be done. But I'm thinking, oh, by the way, I wrote Ranger about the paints and the thing. And they wrote back and said that it's from a bad batch and just to add water to it. So let me do that now. And then just leave it sit. So so I guess I can use it like a shaving cream. Let's see. Let's see what this does. Because I'm all about going like crazy and doing weird stuff. So, and end up doing this stuff. So I'm going to check to see my paints. Now watch. I'm doing this. I'm going to leave that half here. I'm going to do this. All right, so I added water to it so it'll work. I'm going to water it. I'm going to try and lift up some of this to move up in the opposite corner. Oh my God, the wind. But look how cool. And then just give it a couple pushes. Ta-da! And then do a little bit over here. Ta-da! Look how cool. Now I'm going to dry this because I want those bubbles to stay. Oh my goodness. Now I'm like, I don't want to stop. I want to go on and do more. No. Oh, I love it. And I love, as it dries, can you see? You can still see underneath. I'll show you. It's hard to see far away. Look at that. Oh, yeah. You can still see underneath. Just a little extra something. I might make that the top. I don't know. I want some yellow over here. Let me just do some of the Dilutions yellow. This is the Chunky Monkey. It looks like cottage cheese. I have a couple of these. I'm just going to spray it. They say spray it, spray it, spray it. Spray it. And I'm going to go in with a small brush. I guess we're just going to tap, tap, tap. Ugh, that's gross. Maybe we'll do over here some. Can't even get yellow out. They said also if it's too chunky like this, to use a to like scrape it on with a thing, and then get like these little bubble things that come off, like the little peely things to pick off, which I wasn't thrilled about when they told me, because I mean, how long is this paint supposed to last? I have paint from folk art that I've had for years, right? I don't know. All right, so we see. I got that yellow. Oh, I love playing. This is why I got to turn the camera off. After this one, the camera's going off, because I'll sit here all day and just add things, because it's mixed media. So you just go layer, layer, layer. Chicken dinner. No. So I'm going to do the same thing. Gonna push it real good. La 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 la. And then we'll do it over here, just to add a little bit of color. A little bit of color. Boop. All right. Look how freaking cool. Look at this. Love it. I went a little crazier than I wanted, but it's okay. I'm happy. Oh, look at this. Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. That's it. As always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody's fighting. I did not mean for it to go this long. I'm very sorry, but it's just the kind of day it is. And I just feel like working on camera, you know, and playing around, which is what I did. Um, but remember, progress, not perfection. Like you see, I did. And then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Let me try this. Let me do that. You know, so next I'll be doing the girl and then putting her on here. And then that'll lighten things up and then we'll go and finish and bring things, you know, because this now pushed everything back. But if you look, you can see the tea bag, like you can see different things. So once we have the girl on there and I you know, bring stuff to the top, it's going to bring some of the color back. It's hard to explain. You'll see it all come magical at the end. And if you are new here and you sat through and you watched my video, thank you very much. And you would like to be subscribed, click the subscribe button down below and the bell next to it. I know everybody's like, you have to say it in the beginning, which I keep trying to remember. And leave me a like if you enjoyed my videos. I know a lot of you are going to say, that you don't like it and it's too long. So what I'm going to do is probably add this with music, speed it up. So anybody who wants to watch it come to fruition that way can do it the short way. So I've done this quite a few times for a long time on my channel. And it's a pain in the butt sometimes, but I really dig this and I love doing all the different layers and playing. So I'm just going to do it. Love you guys. See you later. Talk to you guys. Bye.